Marketing Your Private Practice is a podcast where you'll learn easy to implement tips and strategies to grow your business without spending all day online. I'm your host, Kathy Colaiacovo, and I teach practitioners the Thrive marketing method to create simple and streamlined plans by focusing on long-term strategies, not just social media. Discover ways to spend less time on your marketing, attract more clients, and build the financial freedom that comes with a thriving practice. One where you have time left in your day for the people and things that matter to you. Hey, private practice heroes. Thanks for tuning into the podcast today for part 2 of my lessons on consistent content planning. I'm your host, Kathy Colaiacovo, and we're going to continue on the lessons we started in episode 76, which was all about the 5 steps to create an easy-to-follow, consistent content plan. Today, I'm going to walk you through an example for a business on how they can put together and use those 5 steps shared in episode 76 and create an actual consistent content plan. So I hope you're ready to take notes, but no worries, I will be posting a transcript of this lesson if you want to take that and print it out too. I'm going to recap a few important points about this process, but you may also want to go back and listen to the previous episode, so this whole one that you're listening to now might make sense. If you haven't listened to episode 76, this probably will sound like Greek to you, so I would suggest you jump back, listen to that one first, and then come back here to this episode 77. Now, the main reason I suggest you do consistent content planning is because it helps you stop wasting time and energy with marketing that you may not need, or it helps you ensure you're doing minimal marketing that will get you more traffic on your website, more leads, and engage people so they get to a place where they want to talk about working with you and becoming a client. People tend to do more marketing than they need or not enough, and this is what I see with practice and business owners all the time. This consistent content plan helps stop that. It helps you do just enough and all that you need. So to recap the 5 steps we talked about in episode 76 to create that consistent content plan, step 1 is you want to identify the cycle you plan to follow with your anchor content. Step 2 is you're going to identify the catalyst content you need for each cycle. Step 3 is choosing what social media channels you're going to be using for your online marketing. Step 4 is putting a schedule in place for that catalyst content, which is primarily the content you're going to put out on social media. And step 5 is to make a list of all the elements you need for your catalyst content. Now, step 5 is going to be part of what we do today in this episode and part of what's going to come in episode 78, which is going to be the last part of all of these elements, which is images. Because of course, you're going to need images for your marketing. Today, we're talking about the content and looking at putting a consistent content plan together and giving you some sample ideas of how this would work for a business. So we're going to break down a sample content plan, and I'm going to pretend we're doing this for a dietitian practice who has one practitioner only, the practice owner. I tend to work a lot with owners who are solo practitioners, and it is often them doing the marketing. And the more systems, plans, and steps I find that someone like that has to follow, the easier it can be to help you make your marketing work. So in this case, our sample practice owner is a dietitian nutritionist who offers one-to-one nutrition counseling in person and virtually. They're working primarily with clients with diabetes, so they're looking for clients who have that particular problem. And this practitioner is looking to build up their clientele and get enough client bookings weekly so that it's helping them achieve their financial goal for monthly revenue. They have a website for their practice and they have a lead magnet that people can sign up for too. And of course, their lead magnet is specific for people with diabetes. So maybe they have an example of, 5 foods that will help you lower your blood sugar and manage your diabetes, something like that. So we're being very specific about what we would be doing here with the content. But ultimately, what we're looking to do here is to get people signing up for the lead magnet or getting them to visit their website take action somewhere, book a call, or sign up for that lead magnet, or even just engage with them to start talking with them online. So when we think about their marketing goals, that's what we're really looking to have happen from the content. Now, we're not going to get into the actual content writing here. I'll be honest, I don't teach that anywhere but in the Thrive Marketing Academy. But I want to give you an idea of what kind of content you would use and kind of the purpose of that content. So we will be talking about it in that way. Because ultimately, this person is looking to get people to visit their website, sign up for the lead magnet, book a discovery call. And those are some of the beginning steps of getting people to work with them if they're a good fit. So let's look at what a consistent content plan for this type of practice owner would look like. And we're going to go through the 5 steps that we were talking about earlier and that I covered in depth in episode 76. So step 1, identify the cycle you want to plan to follow with your anchor content. That's easy. In this example, this dietitian has decided they have the capability of doing 1 blog a month and 1 newsletter. So they will create 1 article, it will become a blog and a newsletter, and that's going to be their anchor content. And the cycle they've decided on is once a month, so we have a monthly cycle. So this consistent content plan needs to give us enough marketing content, the catalyst content we're going to identify here in step 2, to cover a month of marketing. And so step 2 is where we identify what catalyst content we're going to use for each cycle. And this is where we choose from the list of different types that we have. And in this case, we're going to use blog promotional posts. So these are posts that will probably have a call to action to read the blog and maybe a link. We're going to use Brilliance business tips. I call them Brilliance tips. And these are tips of information that you're going to pull out of that anchor content article to share with people. It's information that is related to the lesson you're sharing in the article. We're going to use some engagement posts. And these are posts that encourage people to engage with you. Maybe we're looking for them to post an opinion, a comment, share their ideas. Maybe you use some of the poll stickers or question stickers that you can use on stories in Instagram. The idea is here you want to try and get people engaging with you. This can be one of the hardest things to do, especially with the algorithms and really the reach of a lot of social media channels being so low based on that. I still encourage you to try and put some of these out there because they can be very helpful and get a lot of engagement going, but it really depends on how you put them together. The 4th kind of content that this person has decided they're going to put out there is, of course, lead magnet promotional posts. So these are posts that are intended to get people to go to your lead generation page and sign up for a lead magnet. So with these posts, they're typically short and sweet, and this is evergreen content. So this is not new content we have to create from the article. This will be content that we want out there as part of the consistent plan, but it's something that you can have a stash of ready to use. So it's something that you've got ready because you created a bunch of them in a batch session where you sat down and wrote a whole bunch of them and got them ready. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a bit further on. But ideally here, these are things that you want to put out online that encourage people to sign up for that lead magnet. And with the goal that we have here of getting new leads, you've got to have some of these out there. A lot of people forget to do this. They get the lead magnet, they put it up, and they forget to tell people it's out there. So I always encourage this to be part of your consistent content plan. It is one of the best ways to get leads. And if you don't add it in, you're probably going to find you're not getting many people signing up. The 5th thing that we've decided we're going to use here is short videos. So these are under 60-second videos. And this particular dietitian is deciding as part of their plan that they want to use reels that are going to be posted on Instagram and Facebook. So that's what they've decided to do. One of the things in here is we're not adding any sales posts in to promote products or services. And the reason we've decided not to do that is because a lot of these nutrition counseling services require an initial session that could be anywhere from, say, $250 to $300. I know it will vary out there, but in this particular case, this person has decided that it is a higher priced open investment. And then there's follow-up and maintenance sessions too. So for a lot of people, making a decision to buy something like that and sign up to work with a dietitian from a social media post is not generally going to happen. They will reach out to you and engage and talk and maybe look to book a discovery call, but very few will actually click a button and sign up to book an actual session with you. So this is why we're not going to put this into our content plan. The idea is we use the lead magnet posts and the engagement posts to try and get them talking to us and then booking a call from there. Because in the lead magnet system and setup that this person has, there are follow-up emails that encourage these people who've signed up for the lead magnet to actually book a call. So that's how we're going to do it here. In my opinion, trying to get strangers to buy online from organic marketing for items that are more than $50 can be a challenge. It depends on the audience you have. It depends on the community you have online. It depends on what you're selling, what their problems are. People definitely can do it. But in this case, this dietitian focused on diabetes management and helping clients in that way has decided that they're only going to promote lead magnets or free consults as part of this. So that's where we're going here. And we've identified the type of content that we're going to do here. So we're not doing product posts and promotional posts to sales to our services. And we're not doing long videos, just short ones. Now we move on to step 3, which is choosing what social media channels you're going to use for your online marketing. So in this case, determined through research, our ideal nutrition counseling client uses Facebook and Instagram more than anything. They're not on TikTok. They're not on Twitter. They may potentially be in LinkedIn, but they're not in there so much looking for that kind of information. More of the people they'd be connected to on LinkedIn will be colleagues. So the big focus is going to be Facebook and Instagram with a little bit on LinkedIn just to remain active. Because a lot of times you may get connections through referrals. And if your colleagues are out there and they can learn and understand from your content what you do, that they could possibly refer people to you, that's why doing some of this content for that purpose is helpful as well. So now we're done with step 3. We move on to step 4 and 5. And this is where it's going to get a little trickier to follow along. I'm going to be honest here. I found it tricky to write out my notes for this episode. So I'm going to highly encourage that you will want to go and download the transcript and print that page out, okay? It will help you follow along a little bit easier. But stick with me because it is really important for you to understand this. If you want to learn a lot more about this, I do teach this in the Thrive Marketing Academy. Doors are always open to that. You can apply, book a call with me today. But let's get you going with what I can share with you that doesn't cost you anything but your time to listen to this podcast. So step 4 is setting a schedule for your Catalyst content. So when we look at that anchor content schedule of 1 month, we know we want to be active on Instagram and Facebook and a little bit on LinkedIn. So this practice owner has decided they're going to focus on scheduling the following type of content because they want just a minimum amount out there to keep their social media profiles active. But they know the biggest bonus to their marketing is actually putting the blog on their website and sending a newsletter out to their email list. Those 2 activities will actually probably get a lot more traction than anything. But social media is that catalyst content that brings people to read the blog article, brings people to your website, brings people to sign up for the lead magnet so they get on your email list. So that's why having a schedule for some of that content is important. You can't just do blogging and send out newsletters if you're not doing marketing to also get more people on your list to get the newsletter and potentially sign up for your lead magnet and get connected to you as well online. So there's lots of benefits to it, but I just don't feel it's the top priority. Top priority, and you can check out an episode I have on what to do if you just had 1 hour a week for marketing, is actually going to be blogs and newsletters with some social media. So the idea is here, we're talking about the some social media. This schedule we're creating, I'll be honest, is probably what I would call a mid-size schedule. It may be a little more than some of you would be comfortable with, but you can go up or down from these samples we're going to share here. So talking about this, we want to set a schedule. So the first thing we decide is how active do we want to be on each social media channel? So in this case, the person owning the practice has decided they want to have one weekly Instagram post, one weekly Instagram reel, which is going to be that short video. And then once a week, they're going to do an Instagram story. I told you, we're keeping it pretty simple here. On Facebook, they want to do one weekly Facebook page post, a Facebook page reel. Again, that's that short video. And then they're going to do a story on Facebook once a week. On LinkedIn, they're going to do 3 posts a month. And they're also going to take the article they wrote and share it over there. LinkedIn can be pretty good for pulling content up in articles. So if you're taking your article you've posted on your blog and publishing it on LinkedIn, sometimes that post will actually come up higher in search results when people are looking for things online. So I do like that and recommended it as well. So if I count all of these up and tally them up for how much we're going to be putting out in a month, I've got 27 pieces of content getting planned and posted online, plus the article. That makes 28. But the article you don't have to create because you're going to create it as the basis for everything. One thing I want to remind you though, if you do post your articles on LinkedIn, I highly recommend you post it on your own website first and then wait at least a couple days before putting it on LinkedIn. Just that way it's always shown on your website before anywhere else. Now, I know when I said 27 pieces of content, you're probably sitting there raising your eyebrows going, oh, that's a lot. Some of you might think it's not enough. Some of you might think it's really a ton. But here's the thing that you need to remember here. I never ever said you're going to create 27 pieces of marketing content. No way. We are going to create a lot less than that. But you're going to use the content you create in 27 different ways by repurposing it. And that's the whole basis of my Thrive marketing method, which is all about not creating all new content for every piece of Catalyst content you're going to post out there. You create the minimum amount needed and fill in the schedule by repurposing the post to use everywhere. This is why we want to match these 27 posts that our practice owner wants to have on social media to the type of Catalyst content we need. Once we have that list, we can determine what we're going to need in step 5, which is the list of actual things we're going to need to create. So right now, what we're going to do is we're going to look at the 5 types of content. We're going to look at the schedule that this person wants. So the once a week post, reel, stories, all of that. And we're going to match them together to fill in the schedule. So on Instagram, they want one weekly Instagram post. Well, that means 4 a month. So here I would recommend doing 2 Brilliance business tips and 2 engagement posts. That'll fill in a once a week post on Instagram. They want a reel weekly on Instagram as well. So that's the short video under 60 seconds we talked about. We'll focus the topic of these reels. One topic will be blog promotional posts. So we're going to make 2 of those every month. And 2 will be what we call Brilliance tip ones. So these are all going to be in total 4 short videos. And that's all we're going to need each month on Instagram to do this. So the way we put the videos together, one is going to kind of be something that will promote what we put in the blog and that's on the website with a call to action to go read the entire thing. And the other ones are going to be just Brilliance tips and information people can learn from. So that's going to be the focus of those reels. So we'll need 4 of those short videos. Then they wanted to have a story on Instagram every week. So these can be really easy to do, stories. This is where sometimes what I would recommend is instead of putting a new story up there, just repost the blog promotional post that you did as a reel, as one story, and then do another post as a story that's strictly a blog promotional actual post. Because with stories on Instagram, you can put up an image, you can put a link on the image, and you don't have to make a caption to go with it. They are so easy to make. I also recommend doing 2 lead magnet promotional posts in this way as stories. And so what I mean by that is you have an image that you would create, you upload it as a story, or you schedule it as a story because you can do this. Actually, no, I take that back. You cannot schedule these you have to post them live. So you want to have them ready to go, because what's important here is a lead magnet promotional post and a blog promotional post have one thing in common: calls to action. So with those calls to action, what I really want to go with that story, that image that you're going to use to promote your lead magnet, is a link to the page where they can sign up for your lead magnet. I did an episode on this, and I'll put a link to that in the show notes as well, but it explains how you can do this. And so it's really easy to do as long as you have your cache of images ready, and all you do is simply grab the link, put the image up, post the link on it, and post it and publish it. Very easy to do. You can't schedule these ahead of time because you can't add the link on to the image like you can if you're doing it live, but they are very effective at helping you get new lead magnet signups. Or for the blog promo post type, getting people to go and read your blog. So these Instagram stories will be focused on blog promotional posts and lead magnet promotional posts. Now, I will say that you also want to have spur-of-the-moment content here. Networking content, persona content, I talk about all the time. You want to make sure that you're filling in the blanks a little bit, maybe with stories by taking a picture and putting it up there in a comment. I do this all the time. I'll put pictures of Pepper, my dog, up there, or I'll put some of my Kathy's kitchen moments, which are hilarious moments in the kitchen that I never intend to happen, but make for a good laugh or two. You want to have this extra content going there so people get to know you too. It's really hard to plan that kind of stuff out. You can try, but spur of the moment, more spontaneous is a lot better. So if you can think about planning a time every week where you can do some of that, that will really help. So in this case, we're kind of deciding once a week, the stories are going to be planned ahead of time. And then the practice owner is going to do some other ones spontaneously during the week. Stories are really taking off as a way for people to really follow and connect and engage. So I do encourage you to focus on those and add them in your consistent content plan as well. Now, keep in mind, these lead magnet promotional posts that we're talking about as stories, or even when we're looking at them in this way, this is not new content you need to create. This is the evergreen content. You're going to have a stash of them, so you're not making those new. But in total, what we're looking at here is 12 posts going on Instagram, 4 posts, 4 reels, and 4 stories. Now we're going to look at Facebook. So on Facebook, we wanted to have a weekly Facebook page post, and we wanted to have a weekly reel, and we wanted to do a weekly story as well. Honestly, I would follow this very similar for what we're doing on Instagram with a few changes. So on the Facebook page posts, because you can add links on Facebook posts and they are clickable, I always recommend, even though it may be very similar to what you put on Instagram, you copy and paste and change the calls to action. Putting a post on Facebook that says, hit the link in my bio to read this article or to get this lead magnet, you've wasted the post on Facebook. So I want you to make sure that you are doing these separately. And so what I recommend typically for someone who wants to do a weekly Facebook page post would be to do a Brilliance tip one, an engagement post, and then I would do a lead magnet promotional one and a blog promotional one here. Facebook actually does bring some traffic to a lot of my clients' websites, and those lead magnet posts work because people can click the link. So make sure that you think about putting some of these in here. So that would be our 4 for the cycle there for posts. Then when we look at the reels, those are going to be those short videos too. So in this case, honestly, I know it sounds like we're going to do 8 videos, 4 on Facebook and 4 on Instagram. They're going to be the same 4 videos. So we're not making any more. We're going to do them exactly the same. And then the stories. So on Facebook, you can decide what you want to do with these. Typically, I auto post mine from Instagram to Facebook. So it's easy to do that. Whatever you're putting on Instagram as a story, just post it on your Facebook page too. You can use the same exact ones there. So I typically stick with the reposted blog post video that you've done as a reel, the blog promotional posts, and the lead magnet promo posts. You can do the same thing with them there. It's a little trickier to put the link on the lead magnet ones and add it in. Instagram's a lot easier, I find, to do that, but you can do it there as well. You just can't plan them ahead of time. So you may decide that what you want to do for Facebook stories is nothing complicated. Honestly, it's going to decide what kind of engagement you get on your page. For me, I personally prefer just to share brilliance tips as Facebook stories and put those out there. But this person that we had this plan for wants to get some more lead magnet signups and blog visits. So they want to put that kind of content on those stories. So again, we count this up and we're pretty much at 12 pieces of content too, 4 posts, 4 reels, and 4 stories. On LinkedIn, we just need 3 posts a month. We're not going to be really active there. Honestly, the posts that you do on LinkedIn should always be mixed in with live networking, talking and engaging to people. So that's not planned content, but planned like book a little time to get over there and engage with people. So for LinkedIn, as part of this sample schedule, we've decided we're going to do 3 posts a month, a blog promotional post, a lead magnet post, and a brilliance tip. Plus, we're going to post our actual article as a LinkedIn article. I talked about that earlier. It's very helpful to do this kind of thing. So that all makes up these 27 pieces of content that we want to schedule out over the month, following this schedule of pretty much a post, a reel, and a story on every channel once a week, except LinkedIn being a little bit different. So with all of this, we'll need 27 pieces of content plus the actual article to post on LinkedIn. And within all of that, we're going to need 8 videos for the reels. But that is not what we're actually going to create. We're not creating 27 posts and we're not creating 8 videos. I would never do that. I would never suggest anybody do that because it's too much and it's not necessary. Not when you repurpose your content. What we will need to create each month with this plan and the cycle is going to be much less, and that's what we're going to determine in step 5. And in step 5, this is where we make a list of all the elements needed for that catalyst content. So once you've set your schedule, you know the catalyst content pieces you need, and you got them as a list, you'll know how many you need to create, and you'll be able to figure out how many you can repurpose from what you're going to create to use on the different channels. This is how we get to a place where we may need a lot of things to post and schedule, but we're definitely not creating that much. Now, I want you to keep something in mind here. The content that you're using to create this catalyst content, these posts for social media, you should be pulling directly from the article you wrote. Pull out tips, pull out short paragraphs, turn all of that into your content. I teach this in my Thrive Marketing Academy, but I'm telling you, creating the content you need is really just pulling it from what you've already written in the article. It comes right out of that anchor content article. Yes, you might add a call to action at the end, but a lot of this is going to be copy and paste. So as we talk about these 27 pieces of content you need and what you're actually going to create, you are not writing all of that social media content from scratch. You are pulling it from the content you already created. AI could possibly help you here, I'm going to say, but just promise me that you will edit any AI content you created to make it sound like you. It uses so many of the same words over and over now, I can pretty much spot AI content anywhere. It will always supercharge your game-changing results to help you unlock your highest potential. Honestly, those are the top words I find all the time. And I'm being sarcastic about it, but I really do mean if you're using AI to create some of your social media content, fine, go ahead, do it. But if you wrote the actual article yourself, you're going to be able to pull the content out for your social media right from there. Your words are already there, just use them in a different way. Now, the other thing to know in this planning is if anything is going to be posted just as a story, you don't need a caption or a post to go with it. Stories on Instagram and Facebook just need pretty much an image or a video. You can add things to it. You can get creative for sure, but at a minimum, you can put out an image with nothing else, and it's a good story to get out there, as long as you plan the images out, of course. So when we look at this list of content we need, anything that is a story only, we don't necessarily need a post or a caption to go with it, just the image, or if you want to make it as a video. And images, well, we're going to get into images in part 3 of this series on consistent content planning. So that's going to be coming in the next episode. But right now, looking back at our practice owner, and the 27 pieces of content they have to schedule and post each month, we're going to pare down how much actual new content they need. So when we looked at all of this and tallied it up, they needed 8 brilliance tips. On Instagram, they need 2 for posts, 2 for videos. On Facebook, they need 1 for a post and 2 for videos. And on LinkedIn, they need 1 for a post. But to fill all of that in, you only actually have to create 4 of them. You're just going to create it by pulling it out of the anchor content. I suggest you create 2 short ones and 2 longer ones. And copy and paste is your friend here. That's all you need to do. A tip is a lesson that you can pull out of the article you wrote. Bam, done. You need 8, but all you have to write is 4. Engagement posts. So we needed 3 in total from all of the 27 pieces of content, 2 posts for Instagram and 1 for LinkedIn. Well, these are just simple questions you can ask based on the topic you wrote. They could be questions that you just sort of put together and think, well, how would you do if you did this, blah, 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 blah. And just looking for answers and engagement back to people. That's the easiest way to put this together. We need 2 for Instagram, 1 for LinkedIn. All you have to do is write 2. You don't need 3 because you're going to repurpose one of them to use on LinkedIn. That's it. The blog promotional posts. Now we kind of needed 9 for this. So on Instagram, we needed 2 of these for videos, 2 for stories. On Facebook, we needed 1 for a post in the feed. We needed 2 for videos and 1 for a story. And on LinkedIn, we just needed 1 post. But here's the thing. All we need to make for these ones is 2. That's it, 2. I know we need 9, but we're only going to create 2. And here's why. We need 2 for stories on Instagram and 1 for story on Facebook. I don't need a caption for that at all. I just need an image. For the videos, we need 2. So we need 2 videos on Instagram and 2 on Facebook. You're also going to make a post for Facebook. Well, whatever you put together for this, you can use as what you're putting in with the videos. You can just adjust what you're putting together there. So actually, if I think about it, I probably really want you to make 3. So 9 is made from 3. Okay. So that's all we need to do here is create 3 blog promotional posts. And these are easy too. Short ones, think of them as a commercial. I like to make usually, if I need 3, I'll typically make 2 short ones and 1 longer one. And all these are is simply like, think of it as a little commercial for people to get a couple sentences. And then you just say, get more here or read the article here or click over here to get more information. That's all you need. And a longer one might share a little background that's actually already in the article that you wrote. And then it's going to encourage people to learn more by reading it and having a link there or a call to action to, hit the link in your bio or message you for a link to it. That's all these are. Very simple. So we needed 9, but we're only going to create 3. And that's all you need to create. 4 brilliance tips, 2 short, 2 long, 3 blog promotional posts, 2 short, 1 long, and 2 engagement posts. That's it. That's all you need here. You just need 9 pieces of content that becomes 27 different pieces. And some of these are just a sentence or 2. Some of them might be a question. It is not that hard to put all of this together. And when you do, then you're going to keep your social media channels active and filled with content that has a purpose. It's related to that content that you have. There's a theme there. There's a goal. There's a purpose to it. And you're going to help people understand that you're there. You have the expertise they're looking for. You understand their problems, and they can learn more about you and your services by clicking any one of these links that you've got there. Now, the other thing you do need are videos. So those reels we wanted, those weekly reels. In total, you're going to need 8, but you're only going to make 4. I've already told you that. You don't need to make 8. You just make 4 and you use them on Instagram and Facebook. They're going to get posted in both places. These are going to go along with the captions that you write for the blog promotional posts or the brilliance tips, because we decided that in the plan, we want 4 videos. 2 of them are going to focus on promoting the blog, and 2 of them are going to focus on sharing a brilliance tip. So that's what's going to go in these. And you can script the video directly from your article. A lot of times I'll literally look at the article that I wrote and pull out a paragraph, and that becomes the focus of the caption that I'm going to write for the blog promotional post or the brilliance tip. And you just read some of that. That's going to become your script in the video. What you say in the video can be very similar to the caption you make. So you don't have to create all new stuff here. Just follow the article you already wrote and pull the information out of it. That's all you need to do here. Now, if you want a few tips on making reels, I did do an episode 74 on the best type of reels for marketing that take just minutes to create. I like this type of reel. So if you want to learn how to do fast and easy reels for making your videos for your marketing content, be sure to check out that episode. And actually, if you batch these videos and make all 4 at once, you could probably do all 4 of them in less than an hour, honestly. It's very easy to make these happen when you have everything planned out. Now, the last item on our list is those lead magnet posts. So we need 7 in total. We needed 2 stories for Instagram. Again, remember, we don't need captions for stories. Facebook, we needed 2 posts and 2 stories, and LinkedIn 1 post. So all we need from our stash of evergreen content for these lead magnet posts that we've created are 3. They aren't even anything we're going to create new because we batched that a while ago and we created a whole bunch. I like to have enough for about 3 months, and then I reuse them and repurpose them. The stash includes the posts that you can use in captions, and the stash should also have some images ready to go that fit Facebook posts, LinkedIn posts, and Instagram stories too. So again, we'll talk a little bit about the images in the next episode on this, but that covers you for everything you need. Once you've done this, you have your lead magnet posts already. You're going to make the videos quickly and easily, following that fast, easy method I have for you. You're going to create 3 blog promo posts, 2 engagement posts, and 4 brilliance tips. That's only, 9 pieces of content that will turn into 27 pieces of content for you. That's what you're going to put into your consistent content plan. And doing this will help you save a ton of time. This is the list of 27 pieces of content that really comes from making just 9 posts to put it all together. And then you have enough to fill your content planner and social media channels for a month, because that's the cycle you're decided on for your consistent content. So, what is your action step from today's lesson? Grab the transcript. I'm telling you, this is one where you're going to need the transcript. The link will be in the show notes that you can find at marketingyourprivatepractice.com/77, and print them out, save them, try to follow along the transcript as a sample of what you could do for your own business. And then create your own consistent content plan by following the 5 steps in episode 76 and fill it all in your own blanks. Determine when and where you want to be active online, create your schedule, and then the list of elements you need. Reduce it down to what you actually need to create as new content for every cycle, and then you'll have it ready to go where you can schedule and publish it online. But one thing I will tell you is plan for that consistency to be realistic. If you start off saying you want to go once a week and you've never done this before, you're probably going to get overwhelmed. Take it easy. Consistency is more important here. And that is really it. And if you've made it this far with me today, I want to say thank you so much. I know that this was a high level, kind of hard to follow along by audio episode. But again, download that transcript and that will help you a lot. And if you do this and you have some confusion about your own plan and wonder if it's going to work, I can do a quick review of your consistent content plan as part of my podcast where I offer free marketing reviews to people. So you can book your review with me. We'll jump on a call, talk through your plans, and I'll help you spot where you can improve and streamline your consistent content plan as much as possible. So be sure to check out the show notes for a link to where you can book that free marketing review. And I will welcome you, and I would love to see what you create for a consistent content plan. Now, we know there's images that you're going to need to go with the content, but that is the lesson for next week. So stay tuned for that part 3 in this series where I explain how you can go from needing probably more than 20 images or so, and you will only need to create a fraction of that to use as images. And you know me, I have my rule of 5 minutes max for making marketing images. So I will be sharing a lot of that in the next episode. Wait till you can see what those images can do. I will say that somewhere along the line here between the system I have and Canva and what it can do with its Canva Pro account, that's where I say sometimes there is actually a magic marketing pill out there that does exist. But that's it for today. I will put a link to the resources and all the other episodes I mentioned in the show notes too, and you can find them at marketingyourprivatepractice.com/77. This is Kathy Colaiacovo signing off and wishing you all the best as you kick off 2024. And remember, to thrive in practice means using systems and plans that will help you save time and stay consistent with the marketing for your practice or business. So that is the best way you're going to get results that will help you reach those goals. I'll see you next time. You can find all of our show notes and resources mentioned at marketingyourprivatepractice.com. Be sure to connect with me on Instagram at pepperitmarketing and say hi. I'd love to hear any feedback you have, and make sure to rate and review the podcast and hit subscribe on your favorite player so you don't miss any future episodes.